Hey everyone, Wes here again from Scamps Automotive. So today I wanted to go over a few simple tips to increase your power and your fuel economy for any vehicle. The first thing we're going to talk about is what's called a cold air intake. Now, the theory behind this is that you can increase the velocity of the air going into the engine and also reduce the temperature, both of which are going to increase power and efficiency. You increase the velocity by eliminating the restriction of the stock air box. And I'll show you in a minute here how the cold air intake has an open filter, a larger diameter intake tube, and you avoid the bend and the restriction of the stock box. The principle works because of basic chemistry. Cooler air is more dense, has a higher oxygen content per cubic inch than warmer air does. So essentially, you are getting more out of the air that's in the engine if it's cooler than if it's hot. This in turn increases the volumetric efficiency of your engine, which increases the fuel economy and the power. The second thing I'm going to talk about is a performance ignition system. For my vehicle, this entails spark plugs, ignition coils, and spark plug wires. For your application, it could just be a coil-on plug setup and spark plugs. But anyway, the plug wires in particular that I'm going to talk about are Taylor Thunderbolt 8.2 millimeter wires. The reason these are so good is because the stock wires are only 7 millimeters. So these are a bigger diameter. They have the capability to conduct a higher amount of voltage through them. They also have a much lower resistance per foot compared to the stock wires. All wires need some sort of resistance on modern vehicles because of radio frequency interference, or RFI. The massive amount of voltage going through those wires has the potential to interfere with all the sensors and computers that are underneath the hood and in your vehicle. So they wrap some sort of shielding around the inside of the wire that's supposed to stop that interference. But in turn, what this does is it creates an electrical resistance inside of the wire, lowering the amount of voltage that can travel through it. So these wires, opposed to 500 ohms of resistance per foot, as the stock wires have, these ones only have 30 ohms of resistance per foot, which is a big difference. And you still don't have to worry about RFI. I've had zero problems with them, and I really like them. Secondly, I had 2 coil packs on my particular vehicle. It's an 8-cylinder, 5-liter engine. So I got 2 MSD performance coil packs, and then 8 MSD iridium tipped spark plugs. And iridium is a special metal that is much more conductive opposed to copper or platinum that they might use for plugs. It's the highest grade of metal you can use for a spark plug. I just wanted to say that when I first installed this cold air intake, I noticed immediate power gains, throttle response was better, and instantly I gained a mile per gallon just in normal driving conditions. This particular intake costs 35 bucks on eBay. And in my estimation, it's already paid for itself. You can't beat that. The ignition system, I got everything from Summit Racing online. Cost about 250 bucks, but I really needed a tune-up anyway. So if I had bought all the stock stuff, it still would have been 150 to 200. So I didn't spend that much more to get a performance upgrade for an ignition system. And again, once I installed it, I immediately noticed more power. It really smoothed out the idle, because what you accomplish with that performance system is a more intense, hotter spark, which promotes more complete combustion inside of your engine. So not only does it keep your engine cleaner, but you run more efficiently, you have more power when you need it. And let's go ahead and take a look at all this stuff, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about and how simple it is to install. Alright, so I hope you guys can see this. It's pretty bright out here, but right here, this is my cold air intake. All it consists of is this stainless steel tubing and then this open cone filter down here. I'll show you real quick. This is the stock air box right here. That's what came in. It used to sit down inside there. You can see that the inlet for the air is smaller, and then because the air has to make the curve up and go through this massive filter in here, you really get restriction by basically trapping hot air inside of that box. So just simply by creating an open filter and a straight inlet tube, or a larger diameter open inlet tube rather, you create more power. And some cold air intakes are much more complex than this. They might include, you know, this entire ductwork might be stainless steel similar to this, or they might have their own fancy air box and stuff. You can spend upwards of 300 bucks on a cold air intake. This particular one, 35 bucks on eBay. Super happy with it. When you really notice it is above 3,500 RPM. When you open the engine up, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference normally, but when you get into the higher RPM ranges, it gives you this great growl that I love. And also you can just feel the engine just sucking that air, just breathing, which is awesome. These right here are the Taylor Thundervolt spark plug wires I was talking about. They're kind of cool because they're red and they look cool, I guess. But so far these have been really awesome too. You know, it's just your basic tune-up really. You know, I got them all taped up and heat shields on them and stuff. All that comes with it, so it's good. And I want to throw out there also, I am not an affiliate for any of these products. I just showing you what I bought and what's working for me and what I got out of it. So you know, these are the MSD ignition coils right here, and then I got the plugs in the engine obviously, and then the wires. But like I said, I gained 2 miles per gallon total for under 300 bucks with this kit, which is pretty exciting. The next simple bolt-on upgrade that I'll do is I will install a catback exhaust system, and I'll definitely put a video out there whenever that happens and when I get to it. And it's the same concept as the cold air intake, that you can suck more air in, but you still have a level of restriction in your stock exhaust because you can't get the air out fast enough. So once I put that exhaust on there, it's going to be a larger diameter piping. It's going to have a more free-flowing muffler, and I'm looking forward to seeing the power increase, and then hopefully at least another mile per gallon increase on that as well. The catback exhaust is a little more pricey though. You're probably talking somewhere between $400 to $600 depending which one you buy. But what's cool about it is it adds a nice throaty growl to your exhaust, especially when you get into higher RPM. So if you're into that, it's a simple bolt-on upgrade that will give you more efficiency and also make your car sound better, give you more power, all in all. Well, that's it for now. I hope you guys learned something from this video and you saw the potential for the everyday mechanic, as I like to say, to increase the power and efficiency of their vehicle. Now keep in mind that if you put these performance upgrades on and then go drive it like you stole it, you're probably not going to see any increase. You might even see a decrease. I mean, it always comes down to how much fuel you're using, how heavy you are on the throttle. So if you just drive normally like you always have, which was what my goal was. I commute a lot. I drive all over the place doing my mobile business. So if I just drive normally, that's when I've seen the 2 mile per gallon increase, and it's been awesome. So pretty soon here, this stuff's going to pay for itself, and I hope you guys find this helpful. If you like it, subscribe to my YouTube page and keep on wrenching.